Well, good morning and welcome again to the Paletti Rosa homestead. Well, I went and got more peppers and I am going to do a different variation of some pepper paste. So I hope you'll come along and join me. I've just got so many peppers and I'd love to show you the first pepper, I should say paprika pepper, that I got from my garden. It is so beautiful and I plan on making some paprika seasoning. Isn't that beautiful? Absolutely beautiful. So these are what's called gypsy peppers. Gypsy peppers, you have no idea what color they're going to turn to. They could be, they first start out like that. It's like a real pretty, like light greenish color. And then they could turn into that. From there, they could turn orange, they could turn red, and I've even had a couple like turn purple before. So today, I am going to make a sweet pepper paste, and it's going to be a variation of it. Basically, you need your peppers, whatever kind you've got, and like I said, I'm using gypsy peppers. You need about a half a cup of salt, depending upon how much you have. I know I don't have 4 pounds of peppers, so I'm going to do some variation to this recipe. You need 1/3 cup of oil and you need 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. Okay, so let's get going. I just kept 4 peppers out. I didn't cut them up yet. I have my scale here to see what I've got. And let me cut some of these up because I am going to cut them up smaller. I do not want this to be a chunky paste. So before I put it into making it into the paste, I should say, what I'm going to do is I'm going to boil these down first. And you want to get them into a rolling boil for about 25 minutes. So once they're all cut up, we're going to put them in boiling water because you want to get them nice and soft. And also you don't want seeds in these. But if that's what you prefer, you really can do it either way, but the recipe calls for no seeds. So when I cut my peppers, especially gypsy peppers, if you cut them close to the top, your top falls right off and you have more pepper to use. As long as you get this whole pepper part out right there. Okay, so I'm going to finish doing all these peppers and then I'll get back to you. Okay, stay tuned. So I got all my 2 pounds of peppers cut up. So I'm going to cut the recipe in half. And I've got 5 cups of water here. I don't know if that's going to be exactly enough, but it looks pretty good. And I have got, and this is just something I'm throwing in optional, I have some dried red gypsy peppers from last year. And just for a little color, I'm going to take them and just throw them in there. Okay, so now I'm going to boil these until they get nice and soft. So I'll be back. I am bad. I found a bunch of red, dried, dehydrated peppers and I threw some more in. So I would say there's probably about a cup of red gypsy peppers. I just want to give it a little bit of color. So you see it's at a boil. So now I want to set a timer for 25 minutes. Look at them peppers. Oh, sorry, I'm getting fogged up a little bit. Well, I went out to my garden and I found a bunch of cucumbers. I'm not going to show you because I just showed you the other day, but I'll be making pickles with these, and I still have juice left over. And then look at these babies. They're for the chickens. So that's another thing I'm doing today. So it has been the 25 minutes. So now what I want to do is I want to take my peppers and I want to put them in a strainer in the sink, and I want to let as much fluid out as I can. Look at those peppers. Don't they look fantastic? I can't wait for the next step. But you need to let them totally get dried out as much as possible. I would wait about an hour or two, and by that time they should be pretty well dried out. We'll see you in a bit. Okay, so it's been a while now. So I'm going to take my peppers. I'm going to try putting them in a blender. This is an old blender, and it does a lot of different things. So I'm going to try this instead of bringing out the big food processor. And I'm just going to do a few peppers at a time because I want to see if it's going to work. I've got my camera sitting on something I'm not thrilled with. I don't know if it's going to hold on or not. So if it goes down, I'll bring you right back in again. I guess I gotta stir them around a little bit. Oh, but it's looking great. Oh, and it smells so good. There it goes. I guess it's just going to take a little bit longer in here, but that's okay. I don't mind taking a little bit longer. It's a little bit easier. So let me take some more peppers. You know what? I think I'm going to make a paste with this first, and then keep on doing it in smaller batches. Maybe it would have worked better with the big batch. Okay, well, I'm going to keep on trying to process these, and when I get it all done, I'll bring you back in. So here is the pepper paste that was all done, and I will try to bring you up on top. And that's what it looks like. Doesn't that look absolutely fantastic? What I'm going to try to do, I want to see how much liquid is in this. So give me a moment. I'm going to see maybe if I could drain a little bit of liquid from this. So I decided there wasn't a lot of liquid in it, so I'm going to proceed on to my next step. So you need to get a nice pan, and since I'm cutting the recipe in half, I'm only going to do about 1/8 of a cup of olive oil. Now you want to get that olive oil nice and hot again, just like it was yesterday. Sorry about that, I had a little bit of olive oil on the top of my... And then you're going to need some salt. Again, I'm cutting the recipe in half. So in this case, all I want is 1/4 cup of salt. So since I just used the 1/4 cup, I gotta go clean it out real quick. Dry it. And that's good because it's allowing my oil to heat up. So I'm just going to put that salt right in there. And then this is my apple cider vinegar. And you gotta make sure you stir this. Now, the recipe does call for 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. But we like apple cider vinegar here. So I'm going to put in what it says, even though I cut it in half. And now I gotta clean up because I screwed up. I'll be right back. Okay, what I did was the olive oil was very hot too hot, and then when I put in the apple cider vinegar, the salt went crazy. So make sure you don't have that oil too hot when you put the apple cider vinegar in. Okay, so I got both of those in. And now I'm gonna add my paste. Again, make sure it's not too hot. This paste looks so good. Can't wait to put it on some beef. Now, if you really love peppers, something that I read online is you could use this paste like instead of like a mayonnaise on something. I'm not that big of a pepper fan that I would substitute it, but I read online that there's quite a few people that like to do that. They're big pepper people. Okay. So now I just have it all in there and I'm just stirring it up. Now what's nice about this recipe, and I did not look it up on Ball. I plan on doing that just to double check. But I've checked on a couple different sites, and because I'm using the apple cider vinegar, 5% acidity, you have to make sure it has that. This can be water bath canned. But I'm gonna tell you that now, and before I get to the end of the video, I am going to check some other sites just to make sure, but they did say it can be water bath canned. Because I added those red peppers in it, the dehydrated ones, and they were gypsy peppers, so this is just gypsy peppers in here. It's made it like a butternut squash color. And I'll bring you in. Look at that color. It's absolutely beautiful. Now what you want to do is you want to bring this to a boil. And then you want to check your temperature with a meat thermometer or a regular cooking thermometer. And you want it to be at 167 degrees. So we'll be back. So I went in and I tested it, and it is at 165. I'm not going to 167. So basically, I'm just going to turn this off, and I'm going to start scooping it into my little jars. I only need little jars because I don't want to waste it. And you're not going to put a lot on something, so. And you want to bring it to a 1-inch head space. Just shake it around a little bit. I'm going to double check. And that's correct. On these small jars, it's at, oh, I'm sorry, it's that first line right there. And this tastes so good. I don't know. I always drop the spoon in it. And like I said, this could be put on top of roasts. There's so much you can do with this. Just have a little bit of an imagination. See what I have left. Now, I will put in the description, I will put the recipe for this, so you don't have to write it as you're going along. Now, I'm not going to fill up another jar. I don't have enough, but I've got a lot of gypsy peppers outside. So I will refrigerate this until I am ready to do more gypsy peppers. I'll be right back. Now you want to make sure you get some distilled white vinegar because you want to wipe your rims off really good because you want these things to seal. You didn't do all this work for nothing. So make sure you get your jars nice and cleaned off. If you get a little stuff on them, go to the other side. But you want to make sure you got nice, clean jars. And I just use ball jar lids. And then screw it on. Do the extra and put it off to the side. You're going to water bath can these for 10 minutes. Now, I am above 1,500 altitude, so I have to do an extra 5 minutes. So I'll be doing mine for 15 minutes. And that's it. Let's start my next part of the challenge. Now we're doing part 2. Now this challenge is called Every Bit Counts, and it's for a reason. And look at me, I'm all dirty already. Oh well, sorry about that. And typically for the rest of this month, the second part of all my videos are going to be dehydration, because I've got quite a bit of different herbs and stuff that have to be dehydrated. So today, here is my mint. Now, if you don't have a dehydrator, you could put this in the oven at your lowest temperature. I did wash all these, but the mint's making my nose go a little crazy. You can put it in your oven at the lowest temperature and just keep an eye out on it. What I do is before I put it onto the trays, I just do a double check over and look what I've got. Now I do have a big dehydrator outside, an Excalibur, but I'm only doing small batches right now, so that's why the challenge is called Every Bit Counts, because I don't have a lot to pick off right now. So every bit that I could put on my shelves is good. Look at that leaf. Isn't that gorgeous? And I like putting my mint in teas. If I'm not feeling good, mint is great. So that's my mint tray that's going to go in my dehydrator. And I have gotten, I'll bring it around. It's not very clean because I've been using it over and over and over. I have got this is called a Gourmet. And look at all the stuff it does. Toasting, baking, air frying, roasting, to do bagels. And on the bottom is dehydrate. So the next thing I'm doing, this is lemon balm. And the flavor is mandarin. It smells just like mandarin oranges. And again, I don't have a lot of this. I didn't plant a lot. I was crazy. I should have planted more. Because it does smell so good. And I have 3 trays I could put in my gourmet here. And what I plan on doing, as always, will be more of my calendula, because I've got so much calendula. Okay, and there's my mandarin orange. That one just fell on the ground and I gotta wash them again. So now it's gonna go in the dehydrator. It's gonna run at 135, and it takes about a good 8 hours. And that's it. And when it becomes crunchy, it's done. And when it's done, you hold it on the stem part and bring your finger down, and they'll just fall right off the plant. And then store it in a glass jar. That's all I do. Well, that's it for today. And I do want to apologize. My days are a little screwed up. My last video I said that it was day 10. And today is Thursday the 10th. So today, the video I'm doing right here is day 10 of the Every Bit Challenge. Every Bit Counts Challenge. So I hope you enjoyed the video today. Please give me a thumbs up. It really does so much for us. And I look forward to seeing you again. And have a blessed day from the Paletti Rosa Homestead. Bye, everybody.